Hello, bonjour. I'll have another quick little wet of the whistle, another juicy rebellion here. I wanted to kind of expel my voice and talk about something very intriguing to me. I'm thinking about video ideas, really, guys. I'm trying to stay updated. A lot of my videos entail smoking, and I'm trying not to get too in depth with my elaboration. I'm not taking notes for this video, but I definitely am going to try to just talk about a quick topic and get to the point really quickly. There are a few political realms online dealing with banter and bifurcative alliances and whatnot, and that's kind of an intriguing topic for me to think about how people will so easily, in understanding the stresses of life and economy and just worrying about a million things that are directly driven into our brains through stimulation and smartphones and computers and laptops. It's really good to try to stay entertained and stay updated because this world is ever connected in many ways, and I really appreciate that. I live in a modern day and realm when people are more comfortable with themselves and socializing and have different vices, innocent vices and norms, where people are really succeeding and doing their best in society, and we're gradually on a rise. I think as a human race, all together on Earth. I think to a distinct point, one of my personal intriguing values that I always held was that worst case scenario, something in the future happens that probably won't be nuclear war. I think it's more along the lines of like something like a global disease taking over, like what Bill Gates has recently spoken of. I'm not directly aware of the article that deals with what Bill Gates was pointing to. I know he was mentioning, though, that there was a certain disease that could eliminate 30 million of our population like that, like the Black Plague. And it wouldn't be, via peasants and footwalkers and farmers this time, since we're not in the Middle Ages anymore. I'd be dealing a lot more with something along the lines of, say, people getting it on one continent and not just it being focused in a designated area like, say, the Congo or eastern Brazil or, say, New England in the United States. It would be more along the lines of like something like people would be traveling across the oceans, and there would be something contaminated like shrimp remains or prawn remains or something like that, or something like a particular problem we're having here in Wyoming. There was a quick smaller scare. It wasn't really shared too much here in central and southern Wyoming, but it was a conflicting issue with, I think, definitely a lot of front range Coloradans, and there was a deer population that had this kind of brain eating disease that was very contagious. Not to spout anything untrue, of course, heaven forbid, but this was a certain problem that the statewide animal inspection agencies and anyone involving with the kind of biological processes of analyses and whatnot were more concerned with was deer having this kind of mad cow type of disease, very very similar to mad cow disease, and it would afflict humans directly. Not being something genetic per se, but something that is just such a strong, evasive disease along the lines of something like a worm or something getting stuck in the smaller intestines, or something really unfortunate like that I hate to even mention. I cannot stand to even mention. But at the same time, it's more of a concern. I think for people in the United States on a statewide level, people definitely are more concerned about what's going on in their particular regions, and to stay aloof, to stay in that kind of mindset where it's like the grass is greener on the other side, because it is oftentimes, I'm afraid to say, then it's understandable that people would say be living in the West Coast and want to travel elsewhere, like closer to towards Denver or something along those lines. But I hope everyone can be fine and we can maintain our water height and water elevation across the globe. That definitely is a true issue. That a lot of people, especially in the kind of relative elite, more or less try to make an example of, because not only is it a classy point to really want to care about the ocean and wildlife, but it's a very applicable one that people see. Like, say for instance, if Leonardo DiCaprio wants to save the planet in any way or any form of communication, and express those values on other people as a type of actor or leader, then it's understandable that, of course, we would have a situation where that person knows that their influence on others is very applicable and very important, to take note of, and to make an example of. There are people starving in Somalia who go from day to day, without a morsel of food, and that just becomes for some populations across the world, especially. I know Bangladesh definitely had a very bad uh, problem there, and so did basically every area on Earth for the past several millennia. But just getting through it, not only with human spirit, but definitely I think a lot of the important things, like just staying communicative, making sure people have fundraisers and they have funds for them, and ways that if they just try a little bit, and we do try very toughly as humans, to try to go and obtain some food for yourself if needed, or obtain some a really warm blanket on your back, for the next coming winters. And I know in certain populations the winters are just extreme, and just so vital to the ecosystem, that's adapted to it over time. It's a lot harder for humans to adapt, so very sadly. But anyway, I'll quickly wrap up my video there. I'll talk about more points in the future, hopefully today, and I'll try to get this posted as fast as possible. You guys are awesome for viewing my channel. I am Snowy Croquet. Au revoir.